Hi, I'm Jason Gore with ThatShelf.com, and we're here to look at 20th Century by Lindsey Buckingham.
Shelf.
Lindsey Buckingham, a lot of people will obviously know him as being one of the later members of Fleetwood Mac. By the time he got there, Fleetwood Mac had obviously undergone tremendous change over the years, from Peter Green onwards. But by the time he showed up with the Fleetwood Mac album with his then partner Stevie Nicks, completely transformed the band in really fundamental ways. I got to see him live actually with Christy McGee, which was an absolute thrill. Quite amusing for people screaming out for them to play Dreams, of course, the Stevie Nicks song. But nonetheless, I know him from his Fleetwood Mac stuff. And so this is actually a very interesting box set for me because I know nothing on here. It's actually quite a lot of fun. It includes 3 records in a rarities disc: Law and Order, Out of the Cradle, and Go Insane. As a fan of that sort of mid-period Fleetwood Mac stuff and also the earlier stuff, this isn't necessarily completely up my alley, but this box set actually gives me a really great opportunity for me to dig into the stuff. I thought I would open up and see what is in here for us to enjoy. There is one track, Holiday Road, which we will discuss when we see that in the rarities. That's about the only track I know from here, like really, because of how it was used cinematically, as it were. I was pointed out by a friend. He was like, "Oh, I was going to have Holiday Road on it." I'm like, "Oh, right, that was Lindsey Buckingham," because you don't think of it as Lindsey Buckingham, and of course, it is the Lindsey Buckingham. I keep wanting to say a Buckingham, like some sort of weird, like I'm referring to the palace, but Buckingham, as I guess we say here on this particular continent. We'll crack it open. It's one of these, wrapped in shrink with the discs available on the side. Nothing too dramatic there, right? Just a regular box. I don't see anything fancy in there. And we'll sort of go in order here. So we have Law and Order. This is a nice gatefold. The sleeves, because it's fitting in a box, it's not particularly super thick cardboard, but it's decent enough. They all have individual barcodes, meaning I bet that this box set is simply taking single releases and putting them together. The rarities may be exclusive to the set. I have no idea. I'm a terrible person to not look this stuff up before I start doing the video. But cracking this stuff open, you can see you have ye old paper sleeves with the lyrics on it, which is nice enough. But you can see right from the beginning, right from the outset, we have a little bit of rippage here. Like the record's actually been coming out as it's sort of been jostling inside. This is why I am, as always, it's like the mantra here, a huge proponent of polyline paper sleeves. If you're going to do this, you sort of add this in. It's hard with a box set because everything kind of gets crammed in there, and on shipping, stuff actually gets a little mushed up. But, the record itself actually looks in pretty good shape. It's not thick. It's not 180 grams. It's probably 140-ish, which is fine, but it looks like a pretty decent pressing. You have the Asylum Records logo on top. And, a bunch of tracks that I don't know at all, which is actually, as I said, a lot of fun. What do we have here? Copyright 1981. Now Sounds Music BMI. Except for a Gary Paxton song. And A Satisfied Mind from 55 in September song, the Kurt Vile from 38. So there we go, a span. But yeah, early 80s record. Looks like it's in pretty good shape. I'm going to plop it over here because that's going to go through the cleaner before we do that. So that's this guy. It's interesting. I mean, so many people... it's funny, the jerseys in front at the stadium here. But yeah, this sort of like... cut and paste stuff. There's so many records that actually use that kind of aesthetic. It's the whole thing. I guess a post Sgt. Pepper, that kind of stuff actually works out. We have here, speaking of, Lindsey Buckingham, Go Insane. Again, bunch of tracks. Don't know them at all. This one is copyright 2024 and 1984 on Electro Asylum. Again, with a box set. There's not a gatefold. Open it up on the inside. Look at the bottom, like a young-looking Lindsey Buckingham, rocking mid-80s, absolutely. Sort of live out. I was 13 at the time. And this sleeve, because it's not a gatefold, I guess, ended up being in a little bit better shape. And yeah, there we go. So on one side, the sort of inverse of him, the photo in the inverse, making a nice yin yang. But there we go. That Elektra label, the sort of I don't know. It's Janet Jackson. I mean, like it's that kind of era of Elektra label in the '80s, which I recall seeing on a bunch of stuff. And then we have here Out of the Cradle, Lindsey Buckingham, and this is copyright 1992. Instrumental introduction to Don't Look Down, Wrong Countdown, Always Sorrow, Soul Drifter, and then other instrumental stuff. Yeah, it's got some lyric sheets. It has, photo of him as a kid. It's, again, a single record. And then inside, poly-lined paper sleeve. And of all the records, this is the one that looks to be in the best shape, unsurprisingly. So yeah, I kind of would have preferred that they shoved this in and then had the sleeves sort of elsewhere, but in the box set that might have been a challenge to do. But it's nice that they're replicating what was on the original, is what it is. I would have taken another sort of few millimeters and actually had the paper outside with the records done that. And then we have the rarities. This is a great shot of them. That's awesome at the studio. And a list of the rarities. And honestly, this is probably what I'm going to listen to most. Holiday Road, not crazy. Vacation, right? That's where it's from. Dancing Across the USA, Go Insane, the extended remix, Slow Dancing extended version, Time Bomb Town, Soul Drifter, On the Wrong Side, and Twisted with Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham from the motion picture soundtrack Twister. God bless. And yeah, Holiday Road, produced by Lindsey Buckingham and Richard Dashiell. Just released as a Warner single. It's interesting. And then Dancing Across the USA from National Lampoon's Vacation. So it's interesting. They have Vacation here, but not the credit for Holiday Road, just saying that that's where it goes inside. And yeah, Twisted. So the song from Twister, which I totally forgot about. It's been too long since I watched Twister, and Holiday Road, and the nice Rhino logo on the back. So weirdly, to have this stuff on vinyl is actually a lot of fun. Him sitting there with an SG or whatever that guitar is. Not an SG, but Dobro, I think. I'm not a guitarist, I'm a keyboard player. I know that's a banjo. It looks like a 4-string banjo. I don't know what that. No, it must be a 5-string banjo. I'm an idiot. That's a mixing board. And look, a bunch of Yamaha speakers. Look at them. Look at them. NS10s, how gorgeous. Just looming there in front of whatever these monsters are in the background. Of course, the NS10s, in order to make everything sound NS10y. Anybody who's ever been in a mixing room knows well about those crazy Yamaha speakers. Anyway, that's our look at this lovely set from Rhino, the Lindsey Buckingham celebration. Very much sort of out of the outside of the incredibly popular Fleetwood Mac stuff, but I'm betting I'm going to find all kinds of really interesting stuff on these records. Probably the production is going to drive me a little bit crazy. This is not the best era for this kind of stuff. I mean, it's not like I don't love a bunch of stuff that came out in the 80s, but this stuff, when you have somebody like this that was, killing it in the mid 70s, they kind of overcompensated in the 80s, but it'll be interesting to actually see how it'll go. One only need to look at those Stevie Wonders of the world or the Eagles of the world to actually see, how bad it got as it got a little bit longer. Think of Kokomo versus Pet Sounds, and you kind of know where we're going with this. Sometimes it doesn't always work out, but I'm looking forward to actually exploring. For thatshelf.com, I'm Jason Gorber. Please follow us on social media. Leave comments. Apologies for the past videos with the audio problems. I think that we're actually worked it out with a better live mic. Let me know in the comments what you think about this particular audio, and we will see you next video. All the best. Take care.